Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
have to be up this early. I don't have a meeting today. I was supposed to change it to 9 a.m. and I wake up at 4 o'clock and I'm like, I forgot to change it. And then I got on the phone. I'm like, should I change it? And I started looking, and then I started drinking coffee. Next thing I know, it's like, 5:30. And I'm like, well, now people are up. I can't change it now. They're going to be like, screw Betty. How dare her make us wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then she at the very last minute changes it. So I'm like, you know what? I love you guys. We didn't change it. It's my fault. The replay crew, thank you for sleeping in. But for the rest of us, we were suckers. Damn it, sticky button. I'm really getting frustrated with this sticky button. I take this damn thing apart and find out why my button's sticky. Okay, well, it seems like it's working now. Let's see. See? Didn't work then. Just tell you what. Equipment. I'm starting to price out equipment. I think one of my biggest things that I could use is a standalone encoder. I think it'll take a lot, of the, pressure off the laptop if I hooked up a exterior encoder. So we'll see what I do with that. I may just buy the encoder. The encoder is going to be close to $1,000. So. I'm kind of pricing stuff out right now. I'm thinking that will help with this. I got bandwidth. It's not what we're dealing with here. The spike of the volume. This is my CPU and the stuff inside my computer not being able to keep up with everything that we're doing. So if I just get something that could take a power source away from the computer, I think we'll have a much better. We wouldn't have any technical issues. So I'm trying to salvage the laptop, but it looks like I need an encoder, and it does look like I need an actual studio computer, an actual desktop. I can't keep running off laptops. So I'm not prepared to invest the money, right away, but it's just something, we always have our resolutions and our goals for this show. I don't really do the resolutions. I do goals because I think goals are attainable. And every year we set our goals for the show around January. We're kind of already pushing through January. We usually have a good list before the end of the year, but we didn't this year. And I think our goal this year is to have a more produced and streamlined show. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be working on scripting. I'm still going to keep very much my opinions, but I might do some more middle of the road stories that aren't so controversial or so biased in nature. Because let's face it. We're a controversial channel. We will just show up, right? We are just a show up type of channel. That's just how we roll. And so that gives people heartburn, because we don't just come. It's just never just me, it's usually me and a few friends. So we like advocating. That's one of the things that we love to do here on the show is advocate for right causes. We find causes, we invest our time, money, and our souls, sweat, and tears into it, much like Sebastian Rogers, and we move that forward. Now, as you guys know, this country is a mess. We've got a lot of contention going on all throughout the country. We are watching things go over in Minnesota, which we're going to sit and talk in because we got a little bit of the details incorrect. I do remember and recall hearing this RENEE Good. I don't know how, like I told you, I don't know how, but I recognize her name. So I've heard, she's had stories with her names in them before. I don't know where, I don't know if it was online, I don't know if it was political activism, or if it was, stuff that we are watching, going on, that's been going on in Minnesota. But we're in a quite a pickle. So I'm going to have to be wearing two separate hats over the next year because I've got a lot of political duties. We're coming up for an election in 2026, and I've still got to maintain our duties here on this show for true crime. So I'm being split into two theoretically, and I'm trying to balance everything. So I hope that the ride and dies of Bullhorn Betty, stand up and show up and keep the support coming, because there's going to be days that I'm going to be doing other things and I'm going to have to drop videos or something like that. And I really hope that you guys support those things, even if you don't see me. For example, January 19th through the 22nd, I'm going to be in Tallahassee. These are our Liberty Lobby days. Okay. These are the opportunities that we have to go out and get in front of our politicians and really advocate for things that we need to have done, or, introduce ourselves, or, get in stuff like that. That's very, very important to me. Like I tell you guys, it's very important for all of you guys to get involved in your community, whether you like it or not. Things are not going to change. And you guys feel some type of way. Everybody does, whether you're here for true crime or whether you could care less. At the end of the day, politics does affect you. If you are moved by true crime, that's political. Okay. True crime is a very political genre. Okay. Because we're dealing with politicians. We're dealing with elected politicians, a lot of them, right? We're dealing with sheriffs. We're dealing with mayors. We're dealing with county commissioners. We're dealing with state reps. We're dealing with a lot of people. And so the idea that true crime is not political, you're fooling yourself. If you are true crime, you are very much a political animal. Because if you come here and fight for truth and transparency, you are political. Okay. So I want to make sure that you guys understand, and nobody's telling you how to vote. Now I'm very opinionated, right? But I never go and say, US vote this way. I make you feel guilty as all get out. Like you got blood on your hands. Right. I'm effective. Okay. I'm effective. I either move people one way or the other. I mean, I am effective, right? I get people off fences. It's like, I get people off fences. And sometimes it goes in my disfavor, right? Sometimes it goes in my disfavor. Like, well, I don't want none of that, all right? I'm just joking. But, so, like the 20th and the 22nd, I'm going to be in meetings all day with politicians in Tallahassee, all day. So how I'm going to balance the show, I haven't figured it out yet. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to stop and do this. If I should go ahead and get some, start some now and get some just general shows prepared and authored and scheduled for those 2 days. So you guys aren't without me, but you're without me. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But I don't see where I'm going to be able to do it on a live broadcast, at least for 2 out of the 4 days. Driving there and driving back, I could probably, bring you guys on, but I might have some people in the vehicle with me that don't want to be on show. So I might be driving all the way up to Tallahassee without even talking to you guys. I might be driving all the way back from Tallahassee without talking to you guys. So I'm not sure how those 4 days are going to be, but I expect them to kind of hit the channel a little hard. So I'm just forewarning you, because we're going to have to find a way to keep the channel afloat and keep us in the algorithm during those 4 days. When you go out of the algorithm, you got to work 10 times harder to get back in the algorithm when you miss just 1 day. When you miss 2 days, it's even harder. By 3 days, it's 10 times harder. And by 4 days, it's 100 times harder to get you back in the algorithm. I don't know why YouTube does that, but I've been doing this a long enough time that's just kind of how it goes. So that's kind of the talking points for right now related to our January 19th through the 22nd. I will be lobbying in Tallahassee. Okay. I know you guys are not here for that. You guys want some updated news, breaking news. There is breaking news, and again, it's not the breaking news that you guys would like to hear. We're kind of covering. My eyeballs are on Minnesota right now. It's hard for me to look at other true crime cases when I'm literally looking at all of this footage for this issue that happened over in Minnesota. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure many of you guys do, because I think the news is worldwide at this point. So we've been having a fight with sanctuary cities and sanctuary policies. And they've allowed people to invade our country. And we're going to call it an invasion because that's what it is. When you bring 25 million people into a country, that is an invasion. I don't care if somebody prove me wrong. Find the definition. If you don't like the definition of an invasion, and provide me a different word you'd like me to use. But I'm pretty sure that when you're defining what we've seen, it is considered an invasion under the definition of invasion. Okay, so we've had this invasion, and these sanctuary cities are protecting these people for votes and money. They're robbing us blind through entitlements that don't go to these people. You guys have, I don't expect you guys to understand the ins and outs, so I'm really trying to break it down for each of you guys so you guys can understand what's really happening here. And so because of the fraud being so rampant, especially in Minnesota, we've got some major problems here. So we have a fraud scandal going on where they defrauded the federal government and the people of Minnesota out of billions of dollars. There is obviously government corruption and collusion in this. There's no way that these people could have done this without help from the inside. So we all know that. And then you have a state attorney, the person that's supposed to be prosecuting these, the state prosecutor, the top state prosecutor, the guy that sues all this corruption, is in bed with these same people and on audio. We've got him literally on audio with these Somalis talking about, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Which is basically concert and conspiracy. Okay, those are what we've got the AG of Minnesota on that I can see. Okay, that is a federal crime. And so now the whole entire state of all of the politicians in Minnesota are literally under federal investigation, and they're harboring these fugitives in their state. And we're in there, and they're inciting their people to literally interfere with federal investigations, which ultimately got a woman shot. There is nobody that got this person shot other than the person that did this to herself. And by the way, she is classified as a domestic terrorist in this country. Okay? She lost her life as a domestic terrorist. So let's not confuse what we are dealing with here. And then we've got the governor and the mayor calling for a civil war. I'm going to tell you, and this is what I posted on X, Tim Walz, directly to Tim Walz, you do not want this. And they're also talking about unlawfully filing a murder case against this federal agent. Now, I am going to forewarn anybody in the state of Minnesota. I'm not saying this for me. I'm not a violent person. Even when I show up to your state, which I will if this goes forward, I'm not a violent person. I do not believe in violence, but I do believe in raising my voice. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I made a post, you do not want this. There's going to be 83 million people on your front door if you go after this federal agent, because I'm telling you, I will be one of those people. I will be one of those people that go into Minnesota with every ounce of force and political capital that I have. I'm not the only one that's in there right now. We've got Nick Sorter out there. He needs to be protected with security. We've got Officer Tatum helping provide that security for Nick while he's out there. This is a serious situation, and we can't rely on our news networks to give us the truth. So we have our independent journalists out there in the field right now, putting their life in danger to bring you guys the truth. Okay? I want you guys to understand the severity of the situation going on in Minnesota. This could turn ugly. But one of the things that I do believe is after Tim Walz's whole civil war and we're at war with the federal government comments, he backtracked that really quick, because I'm telling you what, right now, we are preparing to go in there for insurrection if need be and execute martial law in the state of Minnesota. I will tell you that without a doubt. I've already heard the back stuff. We are absolutely, the Trump administration, MAGA, everybody is, we're not going to play with this. And so Tim Walz got the clue very, very quickly yesterday and started walking some stuff back and saying, you know, don't give them a reason to come in. We're prepared to go in. Okay, our side is absolutely prepared to go in and take control of Minnesota if need be. And we're chomping at the bit because they've already robbed us blind. And now they're putting our agents in harm's way, our federal agents in harm's way. And we all need to be paying attention to that. These are our federal agents, folks. You need to take ownership of their personal safety. I take personal ownership of all those agents' personal safety. And I think it's the proper thing for America to do. And again, I know this is not the most favorable conversation we could be having at 6 o'clock in the morning. But at the end of the day, we are in a pickle here. Okay. And I want you guys to understand that I'm not here, you know, being eccentric or, you know, being loud about a problem. I'm talking to you guys, you know, honestly, because this is very, very important. I don't know what's going to go on in Minnesota. I know it was getting a little hot over there. I was staying tuned to it yesterday and into the evening, and it started seeming like it was fizzling out a little bit. So I went to bed, you know, praying to God that I didn't wake up to an entire community set ablaze, because that's their MO, right? And if that was, I was going to be part of a very large collective voice that was going to put a lot of pressure on the Trump's administration to enforce and enact insurrection in that state. So I know that you guys think that President Trump willy-nilly makes a lot of these decisions, but a lot of these decisions that he's making is from, well, he is in the same alignment as we are on how things need to be, but also there's a lot of political pressure that collective groups that we are affiliated with that kind of provide these pressure campaigns to these politicians to get things through. The problem is right now the pressure's not working for John Thune. He is the leader of the Senate. He's the one that's the biggest failure. I'm really appalled because I know Trump's team has been working really hard with Speaker Mike Johnson to help bring up his finances and stuff like that to help prepare him. He's a nice guy, and I see that Trump it appears to be enjoying working with Mike Johnson. And my problem with Mike is we just had the ACA approved. They're trying to pay big insurance companies again. The MAGA movement, the will of the people like me. Now, we have some Republicans that are not real Republicans. They ran a Republican ticket, but they're Democrats. They will always side with Democrats. And those are the people in Pennsylvania. Folks, if you're in Pennsylvania, you need to do better. Because your Republican senators, House members are voting in direct conflict with what you sent them there to vote with. You guys need to be on the phone with your Pennsylvania representatives, your Republican Pennsylvania House members, U.S. House members. I know for a fact I've got people in here from Pennsylvania. I got a lot of people, great support. People love Betty from Pennsylvania. Okay? There's some people that don't, but the majority of people in Pennsylvania like Betty, okay? Maybe it's my no bullshit attitude. I don't know. I don't know why I'm attracted to some people in Pennsylvania. Maybe you guys are a bunch of assholes like me. I'm just saying. to my coffee beans and PA. To my coffee beans and PA. And I know the one. Lady, you crazy. And please don't tell me you're that Cletus. I am. Because, God gave me the ability. I'm not even supposed to be here. If you knew my story, you'd understand why I have the ability to act like this, and I will do it, right? We only have one life in this world. My life was almost taken at a very, a long time ago. And so I have promised to give back as much as I can. And all I ever do is give of myself to other people, okay? I don't make a whole lot of money, and everything I do is for someone else. Right? Our searches is for someone else. Our political advocacy advocacy is for someone else. I mean, everything we do for other people. And so for the haters out there, you know, that's why we don't care. That's why nobody cares. Because you guys, while you're sitting on your behinds doing absolutely nothing, I'm out here working my ass off for everybody but me. And then you have the audacity to say I'm the grifter. What do I grift? I work my ass off and I get peanuts, literally peanuts. And I still manage. Every day. And I'm happy to do it. Right? And I'm happy to do it. It irritates the pee out of me that I have to do it. I won't lie to you. I don't want to be the one. But when you sit back and you leave it to somebody else to do, guess what? It never gets done. Right? So, so good morning, Cletus. I hope you stick around. You might learn something about politics. I'm just, maybe we can rock into a senator's office and, like, hey, senator, we need some child crime laws here. And they'd be like, oh yeah, you and Cletus, you guys rock. Ooh, right? Oh, we're going to get that done for you. Oh, Cynthia, you're official. Thank you, Phil. Phil gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Welcome to this crazy family, Cynthia, which has been around for a really, really long time. She's already part of the coffee club. She's been a member of the Crazy House since 2022. Okay, but you know what? It's official. It's like the Sebastian Army tramp stamp I got, right? It's official now. Cynthia's part of the crazy crew for real. She gets her straight jacket and her padded room. So welcome aboard to the Crazy House. That's me, okay? And you're my neighbor. You're my neighbor. Thank you. Jenny, it's nice to see you. Faye, good morning. Thank you, Phil, so much for that. I appreciate it. But, getting back to this, and this lady, she's been leading the charge in really disrupting. One thing you've got to understand is federal law is clear. And I know that federal law, this is what people, I truly don't believe understand, is that our federal law enforcement has been very gracious to these people all over this country doing this to them. This is literally a felony. You're interfering with a law enforcement. Protesting and being on the other side of the road with your picket sign, staying on public property, not touching their vehicles, not touching them, not encroaching on their private space. Those activities are completely lawful. There's so many things that people out there can be doing lawfully, but they're not. They're illegally encroaching and disrupting federal business. That is a crime, folks. That is a crime. She blocked the roadway and law enforcement had enough. Exactly, Doris. So what did they do? She realized she was going to jail. They had enough with her. So they stopped her vehicle and they had already got approval to detain the lady. Okay? So you saw the truck come up. They stopped the truck. They got out. They started approaching the vehicle. The other guy got in front of her vehicle to prevent her from leaving. Everybody's like, oh, he put himself in harm's way. Yes, law enforcement's allowed to stop you, okay? And they are required to put their body in front of that car. That is proper protocol. And I heard some asshat on one of these talking stations that used to run the ICE. Well, you're fired, dude. Let me just tell you that again. You are out of there, okay? You obviously didn't know what the hell you were doing. Otherwise, you would still be running the show, okay? So clearly, you're a failure. So I don't want to hear it. And he's like, oh, yeah, I've seen some concerning things. Well, I'm telling you that we watched Law and Crime here, right? We watched Law and Order. We have studied police procedures for years on this channel. For years. That looked very standard. I have seen my own sheriff's office handle themselves in the exact same way. Never mind, one of our sheriffs got ran over here, okay? One of our female sheriffs almost lost her life. When I watched that video, I cried. I knew that sheriff. I knew that deputy. Personally. Okay? I worked with this deputy personally. So I know for a fact she was standing in front of the car to prevent the car from leaving when that car gunned it and ran into her and flipped her up over the car. My friend. Right? Now, granted, I haven't talked to this particular deputy in a couple years. You know, she decided to run for office, and I couldn't support her, and it pretty much ended that friendship. But at the end of the day, it didn't change the fact that she was my friend, and it still to this day doesn't change the fact that I would never want anything bad happening to her, right? But I've seen this stance and this procedure done here in my own community. And while people say it's dangerous to put an officer in front of a car, yes, it is dangerous. But they have to stop the car from moving, right? You saw how crowded that area is. They couldn't get anything in there to block that car. She was blocking the roadway. There was another car in front of her here. There was another car in front of her here. She should have just complied with law enforcement's commands. What was the worst thing that was going to happen to her? What? She was going to go to jail for a night? She probably would have been bonded out within a few hours. You know? But even if she had to stay a night, so what? So what? And it breaks my heart because, you know, you learn about this woman, and I don't think she was right upstairs, folks. I really don't. If you hear her story, I really don't think she was right upstairs, not at this point in her life. She had her significant other lost his, I didn't even hear, it might have been substances, might have been other things. But it sounds to me like her significant other, her children's father, she's got 3 babies. Now, I don't know if all those kids are his. You know, I'm still learning a little bit about this RENEE Good. But at the end of the day, I know it has something like that, but there was something more that went along with it. I think she truly does have mental health issues because much like Ashley Buzzard, she lost her significant other in 2023, and she's got 3 smaller children. She's 37 years old. So I think that she kind of lost her shit after her husband or significant other died. And it does happen when you go through a lot of pain. It does something to your brain. It really does. I've witnessed it myself. I've experienced it myself. You have this breaking moment, but you don't even know you're broke. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. You're just broken. And you don't realize you're broken, and you think you're okay. And your brain ain't right. It's not thinking right. It's not acting right. You're putting a lot of toxicity into it, and it's exacerbating the issue. And the next thing you know, you have a lady that appears to have what is known as Trump's derangement syndrome, but it really isn't. It's just a psychological situation that was exacerbated. I don't know any other word to use than that by the news and the political. And then, you know, it's like these Antifa in these communities, they're like thugs. You know, they bring you in and make you feel like you have a home and that they're your family and they got your back. That is how they control these people. And you're talking to a woman that's lost her shit, that lost her man and needs a family, needs that stability, misses that stability. Next thing you know, she realizes she's getting attention. She realizes this activity is giving her the kudos that she never had. And then next thing you know, she's becoming this person. Ooh, let's go hunt this person down. Let's go hunt this person, because that's how she's getting her attention and how she's feeling whole. And then now you take this and you play the tape fully through, and you created a dangerous woman that tried to kill an officer. A mother of 3 tried to run over 3 officers. That is a mental illness issue that went unchecked, that was exacerbated and loaded and like a gun and pointed at ICE agents. Who did that? I would say Colorado. That's where I thought she was from, but come to find out, after her significant other, which I'm sure had a lot to do with a broken heart and never being able to trust another man again, she ended up becoming a lesbian. So now she's in, from what I'm understanding, she lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which when we were talking yesterday, I said she was transported in. I don't know when she got to Minneapolis, But I'm still, every time I turn around, I get a different report. One saying she's from Colorado, one saying she was pretty much staying in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I still don't know the truth, okay? I still don't know the truth. I don't know if she truly was a citizen of Minnesota or she was a citizen of Colorado. I still haven't gotten confirmation. I don't think a parent like her mom I can't imagine her mom, and I'm upset because I feel like I feel like her mom supported this behavior, as is my problem. I feel like her mom supported this behavior. You don't support behavior that's unlawful. Okay, if you're a parent and you're supporting your child doing unlawful behavior, you may wind up getting your child killed. Okay, you cannot have this in our country anymore, guys. This is getting to a dangerous level, and I support our officers using lethal force when their lives are in danger. Okay, I completely support what happened yesterday. I'm appalled that it happened, but I completely and utterly support the decisions made out there. I've looked at the videos just to make sure there was nothing amiss or afoot. This is a young woman, so no matter at the end of the day how we do this is still will always be a true crime station. So we always look for criminality, no matter what, whether I like it or not. Okay, whether it's against people that I respect or not, we still at the end of the day need to find out if there's criminality. If there's criminality, we still have a job to do. It's still going to be a tough job to do, especially if it's toward people that we respect or like. We still have a job to do. That means that if they're responsible for doing something wrong, we have to hold them accountable. Okay? And that's what this show does, whether or not we like them or not. Okay? So when this situation, I'm getting goosebumps over it because I'm praying to God I don't have to go after somebody I like. And I know that there's going to be a matter of time when this reaches up to a boiling point. Somebody's going to make a mistake. It's going to cost somebody their life, and I'm going to have to go after somebody of our own. But in this particular case, I was concerned. I was very concerned when we started hearing this. I went in there. The first one I looked at was that first view. But the problem is people don't understand law enforcement's broad authority. Okay? They had authority. They had proper lawful reasons to stop her, to detain her, to keep her car from moving, to arrest her, to remove her from that scene, they had lawful reasons. They had dot I, cross T, okay? She violated the law and they had a right to arrest her, okay? When they finally had enough with her behavior, they decided it is now time, right? She's now blocking, she's impeding their investigation, she's putting their lives in danger. They have finally said, we're done. So you got them, you got the officers pulling up, you got the officers telling her, turn off your car. Turn off your car. She refused to turn off her car, put it in reverse while the officer's trying to disengage her car so she doesn't hurt anyone. And he takes off with him on her door and aims her car at another officer and hits that officer with the car. He's got a broke foot and injuries. Okay? His foot is broken. So let's not act like he didn't get hit. Okay? You don't get a broke foot by walking out of the way of a vehicle. Okay? He was hit. He was hit with that vehicle. She had many things. She had, we watched that. Even the people there are screaming to her not to do that. No, don't, no. They were screaming to her, no. And they knew what was about to happen. She was going to jail and she was fleeing the law. You could hear the people in the back telling her no. And she decided to use her weapon or use her car as a weapon. And an officer, I did go back and review it. You guys were right. It sounds like 3 shots were fired. The first one going through the front windshield. It looks like 2 more of them came. It looks like 2 more of them came through the window. So I did count the shots. You guys were Yeah, she was a menace. She was menacing. Yes, absolutely. They had probable reasons to detain her and arrest her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I looked at the law. I looked at and I watched how they stood up in what they were doing. Were they frustrated? Yes, they were frustrated, but they still kept their cool and they wanted to de-escalate the situation. They just needed to get her off the street, let her calm down. That's typically what they do when somebody starts getting involved with the heat of the moment and the mob of rules type of hook. They usually, when they arrest you, they may charge you, but sometimes they may just throw you in a cell to cool you off, okay? Where they just want you to calm down and get your scruples back. Because sometimes you can be caught up in the emotion of stuff, right? Do I believe that they would have ultimately charged her? Yes, I do. I believe she was facing at least 2 to 5 years in jail. Just me personally, before she even tried to run the officers over. As soon as she did that, even if she didn't lose her life, guys, she's going to prison for almost her entire rest of her life. She's going to be doing a quarter. I don't see any possibility if she would have survived that of her not doing 25 to life. Okay, so you can look at it 2 different ways. This woman, yes, she lost her life, but she lost her life anyways. If she had survived, she still lost her life. She was not walking away from this at all. Okay? She was either going home in a body bag or going to the jail for the rest of her life. I mean, you can't use your car and aim it at federal agents, multiple federal agents. She has at least 3 attempted murder charges. Okay? I'm pretty sure that the feds would have gotten her for at least a quarter. You know? Tammy, document everything. What's going on? When I was higher up, be careful because there's a lot of title theft around, so you might need to get an attorney. I'd call the Bar Association. They actually, if it's something like this, I think they have legal aid that could help as well. So I'd call legal aid in the Florida bar or whatever bar you're at, South Carolina bar, and see if they can help you. That would be my suggestion. So, folks, this is the information that I've got. We all saw the videos yesterday. If you were not here for last night's show, please go back. I brought the press conference with Kristi Noem explaining everything. I brought the evidence. I went through everything, any angle that I could find of this. I reviewed every angle. I could see that this was a bona fide self-defense. He had every authorization, every right to use lethal force in this matter. This should never have happened. If it wasn't for the rhetoric coming from the leadership in Minnesota, this lady would still be alive to this day. Okay, I want to make sure that we understand and know who the culprits are in this. This lady, I do believe was funded. I'm still not over that because she was getting funding somehow. So I'm still going to go down this angle of this. If she truly was transported in from Colorado and she wasn't a Minnesota's citizen, I don't know. I think we need to start applying pressure for the people that funded her to have homicide charges. I think it's only appropriate in a situation like this. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And so I think it's now time for us to start holding those people that are funding these things. Now that this lady is deceased, they are responsible for a murder. And I think it needs to be, they are also complicit in the attempted murder of federal agents. And this is criminal. And I think these people need to be held accountable, whether they wear suits and ties or not. They need to be held accountable. We're looking into that angle. If you guys know this lady or know anything about it, please send it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. If she's your friend, I'm just going to tell you guys like this. There's no way I'm going to be able to speak nice about her. Okay. To the extent of how nice I can speak about her is that she was a mother of 3. Okay. In my mind, your friend is a terrorist. In my mind, she deserved what she got. In my mind, it's a shame that she did this to herself. And in my mind, a shame on her for putting law enforcement officers in harm's way. And if you support that behavior, then you're the reason why your friend's dead. Okay. I'm sorry your friend's dead. Trust me, it wouldn't be the outcome I wanted. If I was out there and she was my friend, I would make sure she followed the law so she didn't hurt herself. That's what I would do. I can tell you people have been all over the country with me at my events, and we've never had anybody hurt, nor have we obstructed law enforcement. Okay. There has never been a time, even when we were out there in front of Quentin Simon's house, that we did not follow lawful orders. Now, there were times when they gave me unlawful orders and I pushed back, verbally, and let them know the law and let them know they would not push me around and that I will be happy to follow the law, but not their made up law. And so that was done respectfully, but I have never, ever put an officer in harm's way. As a matter of fact, we do everything in the sunshine. We let people know when we're coming in. We let people know that we're going to be protesting. We're letting people know that we're bringing in a lot of people or a little bit of people. We give them an idea of a head count of how many people will be out there with us, because we want to make sure that they are safe as well as we are safe, right? We want to make sure that they have the ability to allow us to exercise our constitutional rights in a safe manner. We're not saying to control our speech. We're telling you, let us speak in a safe space. And those safe spaces are called public easements, public property. And that's where we conduct our business, is on the public, not on private property, unless we're having an event and somebody opens up their private property to us with permission, right? Otherwise, we do all of our stuff out there in the public. We don't hurt or injure the public, and we damn sure don't put ourselves, our friends, or our law enforcement in danger. Okay? We just don't do that. So I'm a professional protester. I go all over this country. I would never handle my business like that. Why? Because it's dangerous and it's unlawful. And if you know anything about this show, whether you like me or not, is we follow the law. We follow the law. We push the law to the limits, but we never cross the line. We never cross the line. And so this was well overboard, and I'm sorry she lost her life. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. I felt the need. If you guys want to, we might be able to open up the phone lines if you guys are feeling so moved to speak about this topic. So I just want to thank all the 25 people over in the vertical chat. We have about 66 people in the horizontal chat this morning. Thank you for all being here. I know we started ridiculously early this morning, and we didn't need to. We didn't need to. Unfortunately, I got no meeting today. So we could have theoretically started at 9, and I just didn't change the time, and I thought it was unfair for me to change the time after I came in here and already saw people in the chat. So I just went ahead and just rolled with. I was up. As you can see, I'm dressed, right? I'm up, I'm dressed. I've already been working. I get up very, very early. And if I could be on these things, I would be on. And maybe that's what I need to do, because now I'm on Facebook. I'm hitting numbers out of the park on Facebook. I mean, I have never had like this. This whole story is going viral on Facebook. Facebook and TikTok. I don't know why it's not picking up on our end here. Maybe because the true crime genre is just not political. And that's okay, because I wanted to explain to you, if you're in the true crime genre and you are political. How do you think we get laws done for these kids? We have to deal with sheriffs. We have to deal with state attorneys. We have to deal with prosecutors. We've got to deal with defense attorneys. We've got to deal with all these people that are elected officials. To be a part of the true crime genre, you are political. So don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. Hey, JH, it's nice to see you. Good morning, love bug. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. And guys, I will tell you, after this week, I don't think I'm going to do the vertical with the horizontal. We're going to do the vertical when I'm on my phone. It's been such a pain in the butt. It has lagged the system out. I don't feel like we are getting a quality, like we're having a lot of technical difficulties since I incorporated the vertical chat. And quite frankly, I don't see really any, it's more confusing than not. Yeah, more people can see you on the shorts thing. I don't care. Like, I don't care if people, I'm not with it though. I don't really do a whole lot of shorts. I'm not really in the shorts category. We're a show. I feel like it's not degrading the show. I like it. But I think what I need to be doing is just running in horizontal for the live and producing a secondary vertical that can be put on different apps and stuff like that. So, I'm going to pray over it before I make the decision, but I'm really not enjoying the vertical and the simultaneous horizontal. Yeah, we're getting more viewership and stuff like that. But, and I appreciate the viewership, but I want real viewership. I don't want, if you know anything, I'm about truth and realistic stuff. If we need to grow or we need to change, we need to know that. Being on there and people just watching you for 20 seconds, I just don't see the benefit of that. I don't see where I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. And let me know what you guys think. Send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I know the ones that are passionate about this will tell me the truth. Do you guys like the vertical and the horizontal being simultaneous? Or do you know what? Let me put it. Well, I can't. I got two streams going on. So how do you put it in both streams? So missing politics are true crime. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're all, believe it or not, we're all political because we want changes in laws for our children, right? And that's what we fight. That's one of the uniting factors for many of us on this channel was our advocacy for tougher penalties for our children, right? And to end abuse and to, there's just a lot of, just a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot. And I feel like, many people are shamed out of politics or shamed to believe that politics is bad or something like that, not realizing you truly are a political activist already because you're in true crime. And you cannot tell me that there's not one of us that doesn't think that we need to have tougher penalties in certain sectors or certain states of this country. Raise your hand if you believe some things laws need to be changed. I think this is going to clarify a lot of positions for you. I think that you guys are going to find out, yeah, every single one of you that come by this channel want laws changed in this country, whether it's to be, to be more tough on violence, to be tough on, child exploitation, to be tough on, domestic violence, to be tough on other types of crimes that affect families. The substance abuse has claimed a lot of lives. We want tougher stuff on that. We want more programs for that. Don't tell me that we're not advocates over here, political advocates, because we are. Even when it comes to law enforcement, right? We're sitting here talking, like I tell you guys all the time, I think we need to be, people that are substance abuse or addicted, because most of us have had struggles with substance or alcohol, or we've seen it. Or we've seen it, much like autism. It was crazy until we covered the case of Sebastian Rogers. I didn't realize how many people were affected by autism, but we know now, and we united because of it. But there's a lot of stuff that we as a community, a true crime community, that want to get done for our children and, helping support families and providing more resources to people that need it. And, my position here is people that are struggling, with burglaries and stuff like that. They're usually doing it because they need the money, either because they're broke or they have substance problems, right? So if we gave people educations instead of jail cells, if we showed them how to pull themselves out of the ghetto, how to put themselves in that CEO position, I believe that we would have a better country. But instead, what do? We have a person that's struggling with substances and we throw them in jail. That's not recovery. That's not rehabilitation. That's just setting that person up for failure with no resolution to how to overcome this. We need programs out there to help detoxify our country from these substances. And then we need a whole host of educational resources to help educate a working class. Some of the strongest people I've met, some of the people that I know are absolute fighters for me, are people that have had substance problems or problems in the past that have turned their lives over to God in a new path. Those people there are warriors. Okay, I would jump over somebody book smart and college smart for a person that had not only that, but pulled themselves from the ashes and put themselves, because they had to work 1,000,000 times harder than that perfect individual that's never had a problem in their life that has a PhD. Okay, if you want to talk about somebody that works their ass off it's going to be that recovered addict or recovering addict or alcoholic. You guys have no idea how much I rely on my recovery and the people in recovery to help do some of the stuff that I do, because they are troopers. They do things lawfully and legally. They can't, because their sobriety depends on them doing it the right way. Right? So they are not going to color outside the lines. Why? Because it could jeopardize their sobriety. So I love working with people like that. People that are book smart, they may color outside of the lines. They may not care about what they are doing. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, she'll like it. She'll tell me to kiss her grits. Yeah, no. But anyways, let's listen to this. I cut portions of this off. I want to get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, so here you go. She's blocking traffic. She's parked in the road. You see the officers have already talked to her. She's basically blocking one road. I don't know. It looks like that car there. I don't know if this car here is this lady's, but it looks like they're intentionally and willfully obstructing traffic and obstructing a federal investigation. So it appears that law enforcement was in their right to stop her. Look at how she's parked in the middle of a road. Are you telling me that that is not probable cause to ask for your license and registration? I don't know where you come from, but this position right here with nobody around her car gives them all the probable cause that they need to surround her car and tell her to turn her engine off. This car right here, parked right here, in the middle of the road like that. If anybody else was parked like that in the middle of the road, what would you do? You would call law enforcement and have them removed, no? Oh! Right. You'd call law enforcement and have them removed. Well, it just so happens that law enforcement was right there and getting her to move. She refused to move. They were like, okay, then we'll get the tow truck in here and you're coming with us, right? And you're going to tell me, try to convince me in the true crime community that law enforcement didn't have the authority to do that? They absolutely did. Look at her car. This is before anybody has surrounded it. You're telling me they didn't have probable cause to approach that vehicle? They absolutely did. And that's what happened. I got to be careful here because I didn't watch this through. I don't think Fox News would put, graphic material on here. I'd have to say that it's not. Otherwise, it would have a trigger on here saying 25 or 18 years old or up. We didn't get that, so I don't assume that they will. So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
You can see the vehicle.
There's the officers.
That's law enforcement pulling up in the pickup.
And it is the
So now they know she's blocking traffic. Now they're coming. You see that? Now their other officers are coming because they've got them on this side and they got the other officers on that side. So now they're coming in, which is proper, right? You got them coming in here. They're going to secure the car to make sure the car does not move while they start conducting their arrest. I believe that they had approval for arresting her. I think she was going to be going with them. So now we've got a situation where they're going to be arresting her. Now she's fleeing from law enforcement, okay? She is not an innocent victim here. She is a criminal. And she tried to take this car and run over ICE agents because she doesn't like them, because she hates them. That's a hate crime, okay? And then moreover, she's a domestic terrorist because she's terrorizing our law enforcement community. She's a terrorist. She lost her life, and now her mother has to know for the rest of her mother's life that her daughter died a domestic terrorist in the United States of America. That is horrible. Her mother did not deserve that. Her children did not deserve that. God knows how her children are going to be treated when they find out who her mother was in several years, because, the climate right now is definitely going to change, because I'm telling you, the American citizens, I believe in the American citizens, and we're only going to put up with this lawlessness for so long. This is lawlessness, and people like me and people like you will not put up with this. We will not stand for it. And that's what that's what Minneapolis needs to understand, and that's what Minnesota needs. People like us We will only put up with this for so long. We will start marching in your street. We would put your Black Lives Matter protest to shame. Okay? We would put it to shame, but we wouldn't burn your city down. We would do it lawfully and legally. But I guarantee you, you arrest this federal agent or you attempt to arrest this federal agent, we will have millions of people stomping your streets. I will guarantee that. That is not a threat. That is an absolute. We will have 1 million people in Minneapolis stomping those streets. We're not violent folk, but we will rise up. That officer acted within the law. You can clearly see they did nothing wrong here. This is all on this chick. Every last one of it. All of these officers, that officer getting out of the truck, his life was put in danger because of this idiot. This terrorist known as RENEE Good. She's a terrorist. Now let's watch.
The Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish reddish.
See? You see him? He's frustrated. He's telling her, get out of the car. You're coming with us. Get out of the car. You are coming with us.
Color here.
He opens the door.
Walking up.
He starts trying to disable the
and
car.
There's another agent. I don't know if you can see that one right there.
Three.
And so there you have it. While you don't see anything going on, it is definitely a problem here. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it whether they had the rights to arrest her. They did. And she should, you're right. It was simple obstruction. It was a simple instruction. I thought you said simple obstruction. I grabbed that. But she was. I mean, in all reality, she would have probably had a misdemeanor obstruction charge that, you know, in Minnesota, let's be honest with you, when she went to court, the judge would have probably kicked it. She didn't deserve to lose her life. But nobody made that decision for her other than her. And that's the problem that we have here, is that this is a problematic issue here. We have a woman that was incited by her government, and she acted. And because of that, she lost her life. If you ask me, I think the mayor should be arrested for homicide, and I think the governor should be arrested for homicide, if you want my truth. I think that they are absolutely the most culpable in this period. And I hope her mother stands up and speaks up and tells the truth. I know the mother is hurting, but at the end of the day, her daughter made this ultimate decision. Her daughter sacrificed her life for a cause that didn't matter, for a bunch of people that are trying to rob you guys blind. I would never lose my life over a bunch of people that want to rob my state. But this lady did, and now everybody's upset. But one thing I did want to bring up, let's see what we got over here.
What's being said. We don't know really anything else about this woman, other than we know that she was not the target of the initial investigation. That was confirmed by the police chief. But there are some other angles of this as well that are being looked at. So that's.
I can tell you from the angle I saw and the one that's up on my X account, you will see that she hit the officer. He acted within his rights. It didn't even matter whether he was hit or not. She took the car and he was in front of it and she gunned it. He had every right to unload his firearm. Unload it. He had every right to unload it. We're about educating the public. You guys, if you want to believe that law enforcement does not have the authority to stop a car and arrest people, well, I can't fix your type of stupid, and maybe you find that offensive for me to say that, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, this lady chose to make decisions that cost her her life. There's no one to blame but herself and her friends. And she was a mom of 3. She chose hate over being a mom of her children. So I don't know how you work that. And it's sad to me because I feel bad for her mother, right? Because her mother has to come out here and turn on the TV and turn on the computer and see us bashing her domestic terrorist daughter. It's sad. It's sad. I would hope that if I ever got to the point where I am breaking the law, I would hope that my mother would have something to say. You know, I would hope that no matter what age I am, my mother would put her foot down and say, "This has gotten crazy. You're going to be in a jail cell or in a grave." Right? I wish her mother would have helped guide her because, you know, she was a mother herself. Who's going to be taking care of those 3 kids? Where were those 3 kids when she was out here stalking and harassing and trying to kill our law enforcement officers who were watching her kids? Who were watching her kids? But you know what? I mean, I got family that's got stories too. You know, I still love my nuts, right? I still love my nuts. We all have nuts in our family. But I would hope, you know, and maybe the mom did. Maybe the mom did have conversations with her. Maybe the mom and her were not having, you know, good relations at the time. We don't know. But I feel bad because this was a mother of 3, and she is going to go down in history as a domestic terrorist. And her family is going to have to deal with that for the rest of their lives. Maybe one day, you know, 3 or 4 generations from now, the story will die down. But at the end of the day, I pray to God her family doesn't go and try to do vigilante justice or anything like that. I think it's time for everybody just to go home. I think we need to let law enforcement do their job. And everybody needs to let them do their job. But I will tell you one thing we will do is if there is something going on with that federal agent, we're going to Minnesota. If they try to arrest that federal agent, we're going to be in Minnesota. We're going to be raising our voice. We're going to be raising everything. We will not allow this to happen again. Not on the heels of a crackhead named George Floyd that put a good officer in jail. We know that was a railroad and a kangaroo court. Shame on Minnesota for that. Shame on Minnesota for that. We are not going to bow down to the criminals. We're not going to vilify our law enforcement when our law enforcement acted appropriately. We're not going to do that. And if Tim Walz wants to keep talking about civil war, I can guarantee you we're going to be engaging in if they're going to be engaging in insurrection, then they need to have their state taken over by the feds. And we'll be monitoring this situation, but I will tell you guys right now, I'm going to be pushing for the feds to take over the state if this starts getting unmanageable. But I was expecting the city to burn down last night, and it did not. So it sounds like people are getting a clue. You do not want to fuck with the federal government. And if you do, well, you can join your friend, your terrorist friend, RENEE Good. Okay? Because I can tell you people like me all over the country really don't care. We don't know you. If you go, we're sad. We don't want to see anybody hurt. But I slept just fine last night. Did you guys realize I was up this early? Why? Because I slept just fine last night. RENEE Good didn't make me lose sleep. Did it make any of you guys lose sleep? It certainly did not make me lose sleep at all. I didn't lose one ounce of sleep last night because RENEE Good is going home in a body bag. Not once. Not once. So I just wanted this to be a point for the other radicals out there. For all you radicals out there. No true blue American lost any sleep last night because one of yours is going home in a body bag. If you want to FAFO, guess what? You're going to find out that FO real quick. Go call RENEE's mom and ask her, did she find out? Did she find out? Betty, you're being too mean. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm being nice. You guys know I'm being restrained. You guys know I'm being restrained, right? I haven't raised my voice with this not one time. I have not tried to incite my audience. I haven't tried to build up those emotions in you or nothing. I've kept my voice all calm. I made sure that my statements were well known. I didn't even script today. I just knew what I wanted to say. I knew how I wanted to say it. I knew I wanted to talk to you guys eyeball to eyeball to let you guys know where I stand with all of this. Let you guys know that if you stand like me, then you're just fine. You're not a horrible person. We can be okay with somebody doing terrible things and losing their life. Now, would we have liked to change the outcome? Of course, I would have loved to know that this mother chose her children over being a terrorist. That's what I would have liked to know. I would have liked to know that this lady loved her children more than she loved harassing law enforcement, but she didn't. She loved harassing law enforcement than she did her kids. And that's why she's in a body bag right now, okay? If she was mom, I'm pretty sure this situation would have been much different. As a matter of fact, if she was mom, this situation wouldn't even have happened. But she chose not to be mom. She chose to be a terrorist. Let's not forget that. I know it, and you know what? I was sitting there thinking about that, and I think I've conveyed that to you. Think about the two people that came up for VP, and think about the one that was nixed off that VP list. So the short VP was Josh Shapiro and Tim Walz. I believe Josh Shapiro would have had the ticket if Donald Trump's execution had happened, instead of it being an attempted execution. Butler, Pennsylvania, I believe Josh Shapiro was all over that. Too many weird things that was in his control. His officers were in his control, and the officers weren't doing their job, and they just so happened not to be where they needed to be. That was, I've always believed Josh Shapiro should have been arrested. Always. I'm never going to come off that. And so he was on the short list, and Tim Walz was on the short list. I never understood why Tim Walz was on the short list. Never. It's still up until we found out about the fraud, the massive fraud. I couldn't understand why she selected him. He was a putz. He was sloppy. He's like a Chris Christie or a J.B. Pritzker, right? Just a slob, just a nasty, fat, slobby. Doesn't give a shit about his employees. Doesn't give a shit. Just greasy, slimy, And you can't tell me that that's not what you get when you look at a J.B. Pritzker or Chris Christie's. You get that ick. The slob, the just grease, the snaky, the slimy, the ick. And so I never understood why this putz, she was going for this putz. Well, I know now. Because when she didn't get her dead president, she needed a lot of money. And guess what? He had the biggest racket going on. We were just too stupid to realize it at the time. So don't tell me that our Democrat Party didn't know that this fraud was going on. Don't tell me that they did not replicate this in every single one of their counties and states so they could be doing what they're doing in Minnesota. Well, you're all are coming down, right? And the fraud's been committed, so even when you're trying to cover your tracks, the damage is done. We're going to find you. We're going to find you, and this is going on all over the country. And people are rising up. I was going to start doing some of that stuff here, and I chose not to, at least until things die down just a little bit, because my January and February are so packed with other stuff that has been on the books for well over 6 to 9 months. So I'm not even going to be able to do any type of investigative work until probably the middle to end of March. So that's going to be the next time I can go out anywhere, is the middle to the end of March. Like my January's packed, my February's packed. And because we're going to be in February, I'm going to be in Sumner County for an entire week. An entire week. And then I'm going to be in Kentucky, because I've got to do some networking in Kentucky in Tom Massey's district. We're working to take Tom Massey out, period. And it takes a lot of hands on deck, including people from out of state and people from other countries like Israel. So I'm just saying, we're all working together. We're all working together.
That's kind of one pass of the video, and again, right. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Sorry. So there is some audio to this, and if you go online, you can see. So now you can see the view.
Yeah, we're not doing the audio. The audio is just filled with a whole bunch of cuss words. I had to take down X because X had. I was going to show you guys some X photos, but I was so worried that I was going to get hit with something because X, they show some graphic stuff on X, and there was one where she was bloody and in the seat. And I was scared I was going to scroll past that. And, God knows the hate channels, you know what I'm saying? Everything that we have here was non-graphic, nothing, you couldn't see anything, nothing. So we could play this stuff, but I was going to bring up X and just go down the X and just talk about what was going on there. And so I decided just to do a sampling of what was in the, X. And when I did the sampling, I'm like, I can't use X today. So this is just a fair warning to all of my content creator friends. Do not have a live broadcast. And if you're going to use X, select the X posts that you need for this, because if you scroll on X while you're live streaming on YouTube, you may violate YouTube's terms of service. So I just want to caution everybody on here. I went through everything to make sure that mine did not violate terms of service for this morning. But I just want to caution my fellow content creators that are covering this case. Please be careful with X. Please be careful with X if you are live streaming on YouTube or TikTok. Okay, those are the two that are you can lose your channel with some of the items that you might accidentally scroll past on X. So be very careful if you're covering this Minnesota shooting and you're using X platform. There are some very graphic materials on there that do not come with disclaimers. So you don't have to click a button, you just have to scroll, and it's right there, and you could lose your channel here on YouTube. So I just want to caution and make sure you guys don't do anything that could cause you any problems. And I know we have younger YouTubers out here just getting started in the true crime or political genre. So I just wanted to give you a tidbit of advice before you accidentally do something you didn't mean to do, okay? So that's really all I've got to say about this case. I think you guys understand. I don't have any ill will for this lady other than she put our officers in danger. I'm angry that her legacy went from something that could have been positive to something that's now going to ingrain her family as terrorists, domestic terrorists. And this was all of her actions. And nobody can blame anybody but her. And it's unfortunate because we are truly, I don't consider her a victim. I consider her a perp, okay? And I just want you guys to understand that. And for the people that are out there, I'm a professional protester. We follow the law here. So I know what the law is. I know how I would conduct myself as a protester. And what you guys are doing out there is criminal. If you think you're doing the right thing, you're not. You're breaking the law, okay? We don't break the law for the greater good. That is bullshit. Okay, the greater good is following the law and doing what you could. I've always been able to do what I have done inside the confines of the law. I'm allowed to protest. I can go wherever I want. I can show up outside of people's houses. I can, be out in the streets, lawfully and legally. I can do my job without violating the law. And if I can do that when I'm dealing with true crime, people that murder and hurt people and for political purposes, certainly all of you guys out there in Minnesota and Portland and every place else can do the same. Because this is my business. I know right from wrong. And I know that you guys are not at the same standard because you're violating law. That means you're no different than the criminals that they're arresting. So what am I going to say for you? Lock your ass up. You're not going to get sympathy from a professional protester like me when you're acting a fool out in that street. Okay? I honor the profession, right? I think protesting is one of the most American things you can do. When you take that and you turn that into criminal activity, people like me that honor and support, you don't get our support. You get our condemnation. And I'm one of those people that if I see something, I say something. Okay? I do it all the time, whether people like it or not. Okay? And what that lady did cost her life. She did it to herself. I'm not crying over it. And God forbid if they arrest that federal agent, there will be hell to pay. And that is my statement. That is my full statement on the record. So take it for what you will. Cut it up. Call me the names that you need to call me to make you sleep better at night. But you get out there and injure our federal agents, you're going home in a body bag, no different than Renee Cook. So FAFO. God bless.